We have been doing this for a minute now. It's 15 years that I am a stage 3B breast cancer survivor, and I don't even know how we got connected, but I guess we have to back up a little bit. Thank you. It's always an honor, and you all are going to find out in a minute why I do this. Wow. This is me at 8 years old. I finally got a diagnosis of myasthenia gravis. What I won't do is talk to you for a half hour like this, as my nose runs, my nose collapses in order to get any air pressure for you all to hear me and me to say words clearly. If I talked the way I wanted to, you would understand anything I have to say right now. I didn't get this built for me until I was 17 years old. I was bullied. I was made fun of for all my formative years. And when I got this, I said, nobody will ever motherfucking bully me again. And unfortunately at 17, that wasn't a really good decision. Because I shoved everyone away and I became the bully. As this was built for me, it took almost 2 years. My voice got stronger. I could now talk. And what I found myself doing was protecting those who had been bullied. I remember before I got this, I need a tissue if anybody has one. I remember before I got this appliance that in elementary school we went to the zoo. And we used to do outings like that in my day. I'm not so young anymore, thank you very much. And we got off the bus, and there was a visibly disabled child who also had learning disabilities. And everybody went on this field trip. And this was before we did all the fancy stuff with integrating and non-integrating and I don't know. And I remember getting off the bus, and I remember the cool kids at the beginning of the outing at the zoo, as the big black iron gates were behind us. And we were all excited to go play. I remember them making fun of this kid. And me, who had been a victim of that, defended him. And guess what? I was next. So not only did he get bullied walking through those gates that day, so did I. And I went through every day of my classmates saying, Barbara, you up? Barbara, you up? Because that's how I sounded. Teachers made fun of me. Because nobody knew better back then. That was 50 years ago. was in those years. And they shaped me. And when I got angry, when I got this help, I rebelled. By 23, I was sober. So, fill in the blanks. I was crazy. I was angry. I was rebelling against people that loved me and people who didn't. It didn't matter. And inside I was dying. So fortunately, by 23, I identified I was suicidal and got help. And at that time, I was still making it look good. You know, I went to school and I was working for a company where I was the human resource manager. I had 40 plus hourly employees and I had 20 salaried employees, union and non-union. And I did it all. From benefit, everything. And I sent people to rehab. I was newly married. All looked good on paper. And suddenly, I'm aware that my new husband is a crazy addict. And one of my employees sat down in my office and said, "Do you mind, Miss Glass, if I speak out of turn?" I said, "Sure, you know, we know each other. We've been through a lot." He said, "Did you ever think there might be something going on with you if you're putting up with him?" He said, "Would a perfectly healthy person be in this situation?" Now, I didn't like that much, but he was in recovery for years. And I had kind of helped him in that process and some other employees through rehab and treatment. So I had to kind of look at, did this fit for me? And I don't know why I'm getting into this right now, but the universe works in crazy ways. So that conversation led me through the door to really what was underneath my crazy behavior. Whatever label you would give it, alcohol, drugs, sex, anger, shopping, gambling, control, there's a lot of labels for the same thing, and all it's about is escaping reality. And my reality was the world hated me from a very young age. So that entry allowed me to start rebuilding my life. And never ever did I imagine, from being made fun of, and going through rehab for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, thinking it was going to be 4, because I didn't need to be there. I did. And being forced to take my retainer out and exist in community without it. That I found the ability to come here and know that I'm not any less when I don't have it in. And close people in my life, I take it out at night. And I chill and I talk, and my daughter and people in my life, I can do that. So I share all that to say this. We don't know how we get where we're going to get, why we get there, what our journey's going to be. Mine's been medical in nature for a very long time. The cause of this, myasthenia gravis. So I'll get a little into the how of the obturator, because that's interesting to you, right? Okay. So Dr. Mazahari, Lancaster Cleft Palate Clinic in Pennsylvania. I was born and raised in Reading, Pennsylvania. Why this guy was 45 minutes from me, only the universe knows, because he was the only person on the planet doing this. I was 17, going to school. My dad's running me back and forth to Lancaster. We get that, what's that pink goop stuff? God, the first imprint pink goop that's coming out, feels like it's gonna come out your ears. Cause it just like is gummy and you know what I mean, right? So we do the imprints and all that and I get this obturator, that's the roof of my mouth. And then we have to build a part off the back. So do you want to see it again? You want me to walk around so y'all can see it? There's a piece that goes straight back, and then there's the horizontal piece. That closes off the airway because my palate doesn't do it. So in order to build that, it takes a long time. You can't just put something like that in your mouth. Trust me. So it started with the piece here, and then they would put a little valve on the back, had me put it in. I know, that's crazy difference, isn't it? Had me put it in, put my head down, roll, turn, and they put this, then I take it out, and they put the wax on it. So then I do it again, and the back of my esophagus helps form and shape and all my head movements so that it can't rub against the wall. And then we build it, and then they go and they make it permanent. And then we come back and we do it again. And then we come back and we do it again. And then we come back, and there's at least 6, 8 weeks in between. Because you can't build it quickly, you have to build it properly. So that process took almost 2 years. And as my voice got, now keep in mind, my peers, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, are watching me change in more ways than one, but we won't get back into that. But I gained a voice. Unfortunately, it was already too late. I practically flunked out of high school. Long story short, after a few years of recovery, I went back to college at 27 and had a 3.99 GPA. So what it looks like sometimes isn't really what it is. We are really harsh on people's outsides, so if I can really say anything, it's like, let's just check that shit. I was diagnosed with my first cancer at 19. I was diagnosed with stage 3B breast cancer 15 years ago and had a double mastectomy. I am an international advocate for aesthetic flat closure, which is the healthy choice and the choice where I can feel my skin today. And that's another class that I won't get into, but if anybody, look, 1 in 8 get diagnosed, so if you're connected and you need info, I'm here. 5.5 years ago, I was diagnosed metastatic cancer. I now have cancer in my bones, and I live with it, and metastatic means it's not going away. You live in the truth of cancer, not the denial. You're all medical students, so I'm not gonna beat around the bush with all that. But the reality is, this thing in my mouth has saved my life. It allows me to communicate. Can you imagine being at a doctor appointment, trying to communicate a 5-inch file, a relevant 5-inch file, with an autoimmune disease that makes normal treatments not allowed, which makes perky new bees, oh no, you can't have that surgery, you'll die, which makes putting rods in places in order to keep someone going, oh no, can't do that, I have got to be in the proactive of health. Unfortunately, not necessarily, I better be careful now. Not really where we're at with all medicine, okay? We don't tend to look at cause and what we can do about it. We tend to treat more symptoms. I have to live in this world of balancing both. Treating cancer can exacerbate myasthenia gravis. When myasthenia gravis is exacerbated, I am getting central lines put in my neck, IG lines, double lines down into my veins in order to get plasmapheresis for 2 weeks in order to keep breathing. That does not happen once. That has happened for, I don't know, almost a decade after breast cancer. I never, after my initial diagnosis, because of other diseases, stabilizing for me has been momentarily, has been months at a time, days at a time. Right now, I had radiation to my hip in October. I don't even know how long though. I just do it and keep going. But not always. Autoimmune disease keeps me in bed, keeps me not getting out, keeps me from saying yes, keeps me from showing up when I do say yes. So my voice, what you all do, you have no idea. Well, hopefully you do now. What's my time?
It's 11:20.
Just tell me how many minutes I have.
10 minutes.
Okay. This piece in my mouth is broken. It does not connect to the one side. The bracket is broken. There is a crack through the middle of it. Technically, it is not even safe for me. I haven't really added it up, but it's at least 30 years old. I've tried to get it replaced, and in fact, I tried to get it replaced very close by. An organization sponsored it for me, paid for it. It's like, back then, I think it was $7,000. This is probably 15 years ago. This is about when we met. And went through all the process of trying to trust someone to build a new one. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it. Well, 2 years go by, and I am biting my tongue every time I wear it. I am biting my cheek every time I wear it. I can't enunciate properly because everything they did was wrong. From the thickness of the plate at the top to the angle of the piece coming back straight, right? Like the beginning phases were wrong. The bulb in the back was irrelevant to how everything else fit. And I've had them replaced before when I was younger. So I kind of knew the difference and nobody was hearing me. I ended up just walking away. Have I contacted other places over the years? Yes, and every time I'm here, I put a challenge out in some sort of way. So I am no longer putting this out as a challenge. If there is anyone in here that is moved by what you have seen, there are more people out there that need this, and I don't even know how to get it to them. Not everyone with my disease has this effect, but some do. And I can't take the medications, right? They don't work anyway, but that's beside the point. So here we are, and I have this idea. I don't really want a new one. See, when I get a new one, it's like someone who doesn't have an arm getting an arm. It's not their arm. When I get a new speech obturator, it's not my voice. It is different. And that's part of the adjustment I have to go through no matter what when I get a new one. It will never be the same. There is a surgery where they could close off the palate, right? You're familiar with that. And then I get to talk like this all the time and sound like I have a cold. So I have air pressure, right? But it kind of is the other extreme, other than the other way, which is very nasal. So finding that balance. So this is my idea. What's up with all this 3D printing in your arena? Okay, come on guys. You're young, you're at the top of your field. I need your, I don't want to cuss, I need your help. I've put this out in the past and I've gotten great responses. Personal emails with check this out, and guess what? They're all the same places I can Google. And they're all the same places I've called who are not interested in talking to me. I'm going to tell you why. Not only is it challenging in a field that is grateful to have you all sitting here, it costs money. I'm on Medicare and Medicaid. Well, Medicaid was just canceled, thank you very much. Medicare and Medicaid, so there's the financial issue, there's the it's not easy to do issue. This is not a young kid that you're gonna work with. You're gonna work with a grown person that actually knows what they're talking about. And a lot of medical professionals don't like that so much either. And then there's the label that now exists on my chart. I'm stage 4 terminal cancer. On paper, they do not see me anywhere I go anymore. I am that kid. No lie. Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Mayo Clinic, University of Pennsylvania. I am that kid from the NDA commercials. Was I on them? No, but I sat on a stage with 200 doctors listening to my story. I am patient 0 for MUSC, myasthenia gravis. The muscle from my body found that shit. And I can't get help. And I'm getting pissed. And I'm tired of it. When I get seen and I need to see a specialist, I am now thrown into the pool of new doctors. I have been seen by teams of the best my whole life because my health required it. It required all specialties to be involved so they don't make a mistake. I have saved my own life from medical institutions on multiple occasions. I have been in the OR awaiting getting a line placed and had an anesthesiologist say to me, is there anything I need to know about you before we do this? I said, yeah, you better read my chart. You know what he said? I don't need this. I'm on a double. I said, you know what? You're right, you don't need this. You're fired. You are not going in there with me. That's who I am. And that's who everybody needs to be, especially you all in this field today. Be the leader you know you are. Be the one who's willing to advocate for that patient that needs you. Because I would have never got my diagnosis if a pediatrician didn't keep working and working and working to try to find out why this kid couldn't run with her friends, why this kid's eyes were drooping like she was sleeping, and why her speech was slurring. I would have never got the help without that local pediatrician, Dr. Mario Paolini, who went above and beyond Berks County to Philly to get me a tensilon test to go, wow. And finding that kind of care today is really difficult. So I thank you. I appreciate you. If anyone wants my information, I'll share it. It's barbminot@gmail.com. M-I-N-O-T. I'm also